But I thought what I'd do, first of all, let me see a show of hands from all of you that have ever listened to Sports Time. That's pretty good. I'm going to give you my version, a shortened version of a Sports Time production. And just listen to me as we get all the sports involved. Good morning and welcome to Sports Time. FedEx is our title and presenting sponsor. We're so lucky to have FedEx here in this town. They do so much for the city, and we're honored to have them as a Sports Time honoree and guest. But I have to tell you a story. My son and his family came in last night from New York, and we had to pick them up in my Ford Taurus. I was worried about that Ford not having enough trunk space for his family. I had my golf clubs in there, and you know, it came from Landers Ford. My wife drives a Taurus. I drive a Taurus, my wife drives a Fusion. But we got all the luggage in there, and we started to head toward home. My son David said, "Dad, I got to have some barbecue if we're going home tonight." So we went straight to the Germantown commissary. Now, y'all realize that Memphis has a lot of good barbecue restaurants, but the ribs at the commissary, they just fall off the bone. They are the finest ribs I've ever had, and I would recommend any of you go to the Germantown commissary. By the way, the commissary has great beans, great slaw, and the banana pudding is to die for. And we're about getting ready for the 36-hour bird. You know, we're close to Thanksgiving, and you got to order that bird in 36 hours. Germantown Commissary at Old Germantown Road in the railroad tracks. So we left the commissary, headed down Poplar toward home. I'll be damned if I didn't look over to my right, and there was a big sign on the top of Oak Hall's semi-annual sale. They're having another semi-annual sale at Oak Hall. They had a new shipment of Peter Millar shirts, and they had Bill's khakis stacked to the ceiling. I'd had my eye on this beautiful alpaca sweater, and I had to take Barbara in with me because she had to approve and see if she liked the color. But I came out of there with an alpaca sweater to die for. It's, you know, light purple, and they've got plenty of alpaca sweaters, so you need to go into Oak Hall and get you a sweater, some Bill's khakis, or a Peter Millar shirt. #1 clothing store in Memphis. Oh, I forgot to say, back in the 1900s, my mother took me there when I was in Memphis. So we left Oak Hall and headed on toward home, and I drove up in the driveway, and there, grinning and waving at me, was Chris Pettit. The happiest. Have you ever seen anybody that enjoys his job more than Chris Pettit? Chris Pettit was redoing the sprinkler system in my yard. And I want to tell you, if you need good work done on your yard, you need to call Chris Pettit. Okay, we got time for an abbreviated version of trivia. We have such a busy show, I'm not sure we've got a long time, but before we play trivia, let me tell you about Jason's Deli. Jason's Deli has 5 locations here in Memphis. One of them is right behind section 105 at the FedEx Forum. You know, that's right where we sit. We can sit down and have a cup of soup and a half a sandwich, and it's all you need to eat. But Jason's Deli is great. It's got 5 locations in Memphis. Stop by one of the Jason's Deli on your way home tonight. Okay, now it's time for trivia. You can ask today for a football question, or a baseball question, or a nickname. Since we're in the baseball playoffs, it's always time to be topical. So let's go straight to the phone lines. Line one, Norvell. Norvell, are you there? Norvell once, Norvell twice. Come on, Norvell. Let's go to line 2, Richard. Richard, talk to me. Before we get to Richard, let me tell you about Mr. B's. My wife and I ate dinner at Mr. B's last night, and the steak absolutely fell off the plate. Char grilled just like I like it, baked potato salad. You cannot beat beat Mr. B's, and the jukebox at Mr. B's is fantastic. So if you want a good deal, go to Mr. B's, rear of the Carrefour Shopping Center. Well, we're out of time for trivia. So if you're on the line, get off. Hang on. We aren't taking any more calls for trivia. Get off. Now we're ready to hook up with Mike DeCourcy. You know, Mike is the senior writer for for Sport News. Good morning, Mike, and how are you? Great, George. How are you today? Mike, I have lots to talk to you about, especially since it's basketball season. But before we get on to the I have to take a break. Can you hold on for a minute? Break, Mike? Certainly, George. I'll be right here. I just got to tell you about Doomsday sponsors. There is no reason for you to go to Florida, Arizona, or California, or any fancy resort. We have the best spa right here in Memphis. 6 locations. You can get a massage, a facial, any type spa treatment you want. Pamper yourself today and go to Doomsday Spa and Salon. And you know I'm into wines. I have to tell you about absolutely wine. Very reasonably priced, $10 to $12 a bottle. I love the Pinots and the Merlots. But they are really good. They come from Australia. And if you're into wines, you need to tell your wine steward to get you some Zolo wines. Well, that just winds up today's show. I don't know where the time's going. But I did leave out a couple of sponsors we need to talk about. Bank of Bartlett Mortgage. You know, the Bird family does so much here in Memphis. And the Mississippi Land Bank. They're loaning you money to buy property in Mississippi. They got 12 locations in North Mississippi. My co-host Dave Lotion and I will be back tomorrow for the most complete sports show in town, where you learn more about sports than any other talk show in the world. Brought to you, of course, by FedEx.